Hello students, good morning. Hope you all are safe children. Now let us enter into our subject science. Let us start a new lesson, ways of communication. In this lesson, we are going to learn about different ways of communication, how different ways of communication works, the benefits and problems of ways of communication, and making my own ways to communicate. First, what do you mean by communication, children? Communication is the way of expressing our thoughts. Okay, in other words, we can say communication means sending or receiving message from one end to other end, or else from one person to another. Can you understand, children? Communication is the way of expressing our thoughts. In other words, we can say communication means sending or receiving message from one person to another. Okay. See, we can express our feelings to others by speaking, writing, or either through our facial expressions. Okay, children? All living beings communicate with each other in different ways. In ancient days, pigeons were used for sending letters. Okay, children? See, you can view the picture in its leg, the letters have been tied. So this was a slow means of communication because it had to long travel and go, no? So this was a slow means of communication. Then horsemen also were used for sending royal messages in ancient times, children. That is in olden days. Let us learn about communicating with fewer people, children. See, communication means what we learn, children. It is the process of exchange of information from one person to another. Okay. So, one-way communication is there, children. It is a type of communication where information flows only in one direction. For example, we can say letters, children. So, during those days when there was no phone and internet, people used to communicate through letters, children. A letter, it will be enclosed inside an envelope and sealed, and we'll put a stamp on the top of it, children, and post it in the letter box. The postman will collect all the letters from the post box and take each letter to the receiver, okay, whose name is on the envelope, no? So this is an example of one-way means of communication. Can you understand, children? Next is telephone and mobile phones, children. So this is an electronic media of communication. Okay. So telephone in those days, it needed wires to work. Now cordless also, wireless also was there. So but a mobile phone worked wirelessly using signals in the air. Yes or no? So this is a two-way communication. See, how can we say this is a two-way communication means, children? Whenever we call our friend, okay, or our relations, so as soon as we call them, we can speak to them and we can hear their voice, okay. This is a two-way communication. But in letter, we can't do that, no. We can only communicate through the written words. Okay, we will write from here and send there. Then afterwards, it will take some time. It is a slow process only, no? Then afterwards, after reading that letter, they will send a written letter. So this is a one-way means of communication, which means letters in those days, okay. But today we are using a telephone or a mobile phone, no, children. So this is a two-way means of communication. As soon as we call them, we can hear their voice and speak to them. Yes, no? And moreover, we can send messages through our mobile phones using SMS. What is the full form of SMS, children? Short messaging service. Okay. Next is email, children. Emails are electronic letters sent through smartphones and computers. Yes, no? This is also a two-way means of communication. So, these are all about communicating with fewer people, children. That is, examples are letters, postcards, telephones, emails, mobile phones, all this. Okay, communicating with fewer people. Next, let us learn communication with many people, children. For example, newspapers. Okay, newspapers tell us about many things happening in the world. Yes, no? So, around the world, we can gather information through a newspaper. So, this is an example of communicating with many people, children. Then next example for communicating with many people, we can tell television. So in television we watch news, movies and sports, no, and many things. So this is also a means of communication with many people. Okay. Then through internet also, children, one message if they give means it spreads to all the person through the net. Yes, no. So these are all why we are telling it is a longer reach, that is a communication with many people means. So one information around the world what happens, we can see and gather information through these newspapers or television and internet. Okay. And that's all for today's class, children. In today's class, we learned about communication, the means of communication, how did they communicate in old ancient days using pigeons, horsemen. Then we learnt about communication with fewer people and communication with many people. I hope you all understood, children. Thank you and stay safe, children.